Hello, and thank you again for joining us at Sidebar. We are here with Jim Shandalov, the Vice President of Originations at NextEra Energy Resources. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for letting me be here.
Jim, my understanding is that you are working on driving the energy transition. And my first question is just, are we doing it fast enough right now? Are we making the progress that we need to? How are you feeling about where you are in the journey?
I feel like we are at an amazing point in time. We're at an inflection point on the decarbonization opportunity. There are several macro trends driving this. It's technology, it's capital markets, it's government actions. Specifically, things like the Inflation Reduction Act that were passed last year give the longest, clearest runway to renewable energy development that the industry has ever seen. So it's really a path to develop an economically sustainable industry over time and help other sectors decarbonize.
What would you ask for people that aren't in the energy industry? Like, what can others do to be a part of the movement and the work you're doing?
Well, what we've seen is that organizations representing over 91% of global GDP have commitments to net zero goals. Mm-hmm. So we are working with customers to help them achieve those goals and help craft their journey, help craft the path along their journey. We find that the hardest thing to do is getting started. And you don't need a decarbonization plan on day one. You really need to understand that there are several simple steps to get started. We like to call them the 4 M's. It's measure, manage, mitigate, and minimize. Measuring is all about establishing a baseline, understanding what your scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions are. And secondly, managing that. Consistently collecting additional data, understanding what kind of progress you're making along that path. Mobilizing the organization to come up with initiatives to manage the issues. Mitigate, come up with plans for the company, both short and long term, for our customers on how they can achieve those decarbonization targets. And lastly, minimize. How do they minimize their long-term risk? How do they minimize ultimately their costs of their carbon footprint?
That's great.
It's so easy to remember. I love these 4 M's. You at NextEra offer resources to your customers to try and make the energy transition more frictionless. Why do these clean energy solutions need to be customized? So
each sector is unique. We find, for example, that the most carbon-intensive industries, such as heavy industries, see the greatest amount of challenges, and you need a custom solution for each one. For example, when we talk about heavy industries, we're talking about steel production, chemicals, refineries, cement. They're heavy energy users and the energy mix isn't always clean. So we work with our customers to come up with really a mix of solutions. And it's, on the one hand, you could have off-site power purchase agreements, which is something that our NextEra Energy Resources is the leader in the industry of. So you can have a mix of power purchase agreements, on-site behind-the-meter solar, energy efficiency, boiler replacements from gas to electric, fleet electrification, energy efficiency, a variety of potential moving levers and parts that allow a company to reach its decarbonization goals.
That's great. Jim, if I was to give you this invisible magic wand I have, and you could get rid of one of the barriers to all of this work, what do you want to get out of the way right now? What's holding us back?
What we are working very diligently on is educating customers. We have traditionally we've worked with utility companies. We develop wind projects, solar projects, battery energy storage projects, and work with utilities to help them decarbonize. But right now we're working very diligently on decarbonizing the commercial and industrial sector, which is what this conference is all about. So we're doing a lot of education out there, helping them understand how they can navigate these challenges. So I think education is probably the biggest barrier, and we're constantly working toward that. I'll give one example. We worked with a company called Nucor Corporation, which is a US-based steel manufacturer. We recently entered into a transaction with them to sell them solar energy from a new project that will be built in the state of Kentucky. So that helps Nucor with its scope 2 emissions. At the same time, we're buying steel from that factory to use in our solar projects.
That's great. Super exciting. And we actually have Nucor speaking at our upcoming event in February. So I will make sure to ask them about that. I'm curious, in the few seconds we have left, just what gives you hope?
What gives us hope is the willingness of customers to look at these solutions and the fact that so many of them have set net zero targets. So for NextEra, I'll say that we are the world's largest generator of energy from the wind and sun. We're a world leader in battery storage, and we're also the driving force in the green hydrogen economy, developing that economy. So we want to take our energy expertise, take our significant development pipeline that's national. We own and operate 27,000 megawatts of electric generation in the US, in 40 states in Canada. So we want to take that expertise and apply it to help our customers along their decarbonization journey.
Thank you for your leadership, and thanks for joining us at Sidebar. We've been with you.